Hi everybody, Dan Illman along with Daily Racing Form's NYRA analyst Mike Beer taking a look at another new Belmont shooter. That is Restoring Hope. Of course, Bob Baffert going to be the focal point of this year's Belmont Stakes as his Justify goes for the Triple Crown. But how many times have we heard it from our Southern California colleagues and friends? The other Baffert. And here he is, Restoring Hope, with 2 starts back, finished an okay third behind Vino Rosso and Enticed in the Wood Memorial. What did you think of this race, his first start against winners?
You know, listen, I thought for what it was fine. It was one of those situations where it did sort of feel like he was a horse on the way into the Wood Memorial. He felt to me like he was really starting to improve, starting to figure things out through racing. And he seemed like an interesting horse in this race. And at the end of the day, Dan, he just wasn't any match for the 1-2 finishers in here. I mean, he got a good trip off a fast pace. He was between those 2 horses on the second turn. He just couldn't go with them through the stretch, but he did race on to the end.
We see some big names in that pedigree by Giants Causeway out of a Tappet mare, but when you look in that female family, not a lot of black type here for Restoring Hope. I'm willing to give him a mulligan for the Pat Day Mile. He caught an extremely wet course, turning back to a 1-turn mile, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on him for that race either. I mean, Mike Smith basically kept him, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 wide around the track. He never really made any kind of run in that race, and he just stopped in the stretch. I'm going to put a line through that one, and then to sort of take him at his racing pattern prior to that one, where again, I felt like he was just sort of slowly heading in the right direction, and maybe he takes another step forward on Saturday.
Where does he fit from a pace perspective? You've got to think that Justify is going to be forwardly placed. I don't really see a ton of speed in this race. I guess Noble Indy has a little bit of speed. We know the Restoring Hope can be close to the pace, but the goal obviously is not to burn out Justify.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go after Justify early, but I can see him pulling a relatively comfortable trip probably in the second flight of that field. And then, of course, you just have to wonder, is he ready to take a big step forward in the Belmont Stakes? I don't know if I think he's ready to do that, but I think he will improve again.
So you think he'll improve again, improve enough to crack the bottom of single race exotics like the Superfecta, or you think this is just a little bit of too much too soon and he's one that we could follow down the road?
You know what he has going for him, Dan? If this field had really come together, I would sort of feel like it's probably still a little too tough for him, because it does feel like, it felt like at least heading into the first Saturday in May, like we had a really good group of 3-year-olds. And luckily for Restoring Hope, because this is 2018 and this is how you campaign 3-year-olds now, none of them are running in the Belmont Stakes. So that means this horse, to me anyway, fits underneath.
It's the other Baffert. It's Restoring Hope. He's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life, but he's going to take on his very highly heralded stablemate Justify as Justify goes for the crown in the Belmont.